What's up, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the D Irish Fan podcast. My name is Danny, where I am not an Irish fan. I am D Irish fan. Thank you so much for joining in and tuning in. We're going to talk about this very frustrating win, the most frustrating win I think I've seen under the Marcus Freeman era. And we're gonna talk about good, bad, and ugly today. It was a lot of ugly too, and we need to get into it. Before I do, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that every time I post an episode, you can talk Irish football with your boy Danny. If you want to reach me on my YouTube page and leave a comment, or if you would like to email me at robertsdanny82@outlook.com, that would be most appreciative. I'm doing this because I love to talk football. I don't care if 10 people watch or 1,000 people watch. I'm not trying to do this for money. This is something that I just love to do. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what we're going to do today. So, ugly win against a very bad Boston College team. Good, bad, and ugly. Let's start with the good first. We'll do this dessert first. CJ Carr is kind of coming out of his doldrums, and for the exception of an overthrown pass to Malachi Fields yesterday, the dude went off, and he had a great game. Had he completed that pass, he would have finished for like 354 yards and 3 touchdowns. Instead, he goes for 299 and 2 touchdowns. Not bad. And he was accurate. He made the plays that he was asked to make. This whole game, that's about as much good as I can get into. Yes, your boys, your running back, Jeremiah Love, he's a stud. He's a stud. I mean, just when you need a play, defense gets a big stop, a big turnover, and just when you need something big to happen, he delivers. That 94-yard touchdown run, which was only the second longest in his career. I mean, this dude breaks off tutties like it's his job or something. But he just continues to amaze. Tough, hard running too. He's not. He on that end around fake punt, he tried to jump over some dude again, But for the most part, he's kind of stopped doing that. He has elevated his game to where he's not trying to just be more athletic than the other person. He's being patient, waiting for his offensive line to block. He is being hard to block. He's going through tackles, and he is being just an absolute dude. So he had a great game as well. CJ Carr, Jeremiah Love, some of the offensive line play. That's the good. That's essentially it. Everything else was either bad or ugly. Well, Danny, the defense only gave up 10 points. And one of them was 3 points gifted by the referees on that bad call, which we'll get into. And then the other one was, your best player just happens to fall down and some guy makes a stupid catch in the end, circus stupid catch in the end zone. Yes, they did what they had to do. Some of this is weeks coming. Like, you can see some of these things happen. You can see these trends, right? First of all, what is it with giving up long, arduous touchdown drives or scoring drives? Sometimes in the second half, right at the beginning of the half, when the other team, we have to win. We are terrible in the middle 8 when we don't win the toss, and we're great in the middle 8 when we do win the toss. And I've never seen anything like that. I don't know what that is, but the middle 8 was terrible today, and we still happen to still win the game. I mean, usually when we lose the middle 8, we lose the game. But I just don't know what that is. Yes, it seemed like every game, even an Al Golden coach defense would give up a long touchdown drive, and maybe it would be 6-7 minutes, and it would be a touchdown drive. But then that was it. That was usually the big scoring drive of every game under Al Golden. Eventually, they would, and especially making halftime adjustments. That was another thing. You could guarantee Al Golden would go in. He'd get everything fixed. He'd come out in the second half, and he'd have a really good adjustment for whatever the offense was doing to Notre Dame's defense. That's a whole other conversation in and of itself. Why does it have to take a full half to understand what the offense is doing to your defense? It's called self-scouting. It's called watching films. But, again, I digress. That's a whole other conversation. But it just seemed like there was always some kind of big, long drive, usually in the second quarter, and Al Golden's defense would give that up, and then they go into halftime, make a second half adjustment, and shut him down for the second half. Well, there are no second half adjustments on this football team. Not only did we not make any adjustments, they put together one of the longest drives I've ever seen on a Notre Dame football defense in my lifetime. 11 minutes and 24 seconds. Some of that, yes, was helped out by the referees. Again, I'll get into that. But that is unacceptable. That is a game. That's game killing. That's a potential game killing drive. You cannot give up almost an entire quarter on one possession that the other team eventually scores on. It'd be one thing if you missed that field goal or if they stopped them on the fourth down, but they didn't, and they gave up one of the longest drives I've ever heard of. And that was crushing. That was absolutely crushing. And that was against a horrible team. They're not good. That's probably one of the most frustrating things about this is I thought yesterday I came down to the man cave and I was going to hang a bunch of stuff and I was going to have a nice relaxing day watching Notre Dame throttle a bad Boston College team like we have done for the past 4 meetings that we've scored at least 40 points on this team. Last year was an absolute beatdown. So I don't get it. I don't understand why it takes certain things in order for other good things to happen. I don't. Maybe that's human nature. I don't know, but you got to expect by now. You hear all the time, well, Danny, you're going to get every team's going to play Notre Dame's their Super Bowl. Pitt, it's going to be their Super Bowl. Navy, it's going to be their Super Bowl. Duh! That's on you, coaches. You got to know that these guys are going to play their butts off. They're going to be perfect. They're going to make circus catches. Guys like Devin Kajus is going to come out of nowhere and have a 150-yard game and then never play another down again in his entire life. Like, stuff like that is going to happen, and you as coaches have got to be ready. There's this cliche thought that, you don't want to watch the Rudy films before games. You don't want to have those rah-rah speeches like Hoosiers before games. Some of that, the cheesiness, yeah, I get. But some of that is you need to have so that these kids who are only 18, 19, and 20 years old have some form of reference of what we have been going through our entire lives as Notre Dame fans. You have got to be able to convince and show these kids that, hey, look, 1993, storied season. We come a field goal away from a national championship. Another national championship. These games that can sometimes mean nothing in the grand scheme of things can sometimes mean everything. And Boston College is a team with a history of ruining Notre Dame seasons. And these kids have got to be aware of those kinds of things. They have to. And you as coaches have got to prepare them for that. I'm going to keep saying this. My biggest critique and criticism of Marcus Freeman is that he's an Ohio State guy. I guarantee you that guy knows every single one of Notre Dame's, Boston College, whoever that team is for Ohio State, probably Michigan. He knows all of those games with Michigan. And if he were head coaching Ohio State right now, he'd be telling his kids, look, in 2022, blah, blah, blah happened and we lost to Michigan. He would have these guys ready for that game. He has got to know the history of Notre Dame football. He has to as a head coach. Not so that he can have some kind of cheesy rah-rah speech at the beginning of the game, so that these kids know you can't let this happen again. You can't let these things happen. You can't make stupid penalties on the sideline to keep this team rolling so that they can go down and score touchdowns. You can't let this happen. Remember this? You have to be able to go back and do that. Now, I don't know. We're not in the pregame speeches. We're not in practice. We don't know. Maybe he did. However, fail because he didn't do it good enough. Obviously, because they played undisciplined. They looked completely unprepared. They were lazy. They looked like they didn't want to be there. And that's one of the most frustrating things. I don't get why. Every once in a while, from a Marcus Freeman coach team, you will have games like Texas A&M last year, 2024, where they come out, they are on fire, they're ready to be physical, they are ready to just crush heads. Same thing against Army last year. The sideline reporter asked Marcus Freeman before the Army game last year, what did you say to your team to get them ready for this? And he said one word: violence. And they came out and they were absolutely prepared for that game. You could see it. And there's certain games where they are prepared. You can see that he is capable of doing this. And then there's other games, particularly in the games where we're supposed to win, like Boston College last night, and they come out and they just don't want to be there. They're tired. They're lazy. They're jogging off the line. Wide receivers jogging off the line during plays. Your senior linebacker, after the quarterback throws a pass and makes 3 or 4 steps, just giving him a shove out about, like, why? Why? Was it ticky-tack? Probably. Were there other refereeing crews that wouldn't have thrown that flag? Probably. But why? Just why even leave it in doubt? There was obviously a crew that was ready to throw some flags. And here's another thing, coach and team. Every single refereeing crew, let's just kind of get into this right now. Every single crew, just make it your mantra the rest of the season. Every crew, I don't care what conference they're from, I don't care who they are, how long they've been refereeing. Every crew is going to be ready to throw the laundry when they play Notre Dame, or when they ref Notre Dame. Every single one. Just have that in the back of your mind when you're playing these games, okay? When a quarterback is running to the sideline, hands up, and have your body be what gets him out of bounds. Okay, hands up. Every single game. If you're going to sack the quarterback, I understand that you want to have intensity, that you want to have ferocity against the linemen, so that you can get to the quarterback. But if he throws that ball, your hands are down. I mean, just something. These guys are going to be ready to throw the laundry. Now, I don't know why. I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I'm not going to say that there's conspiracy theories and there's going to be, although we can talk about those kinds of things, but like that the refs are being paid off. But they want to throw flags against you. Play that way. Play that way. They want to throw flags. That face mask call was absolutely inexcusable and ridiculous. And again, we just keep game after game after game after game. We're coming across these refereeing calls where 9 times out of 10 they're not throwing the flag, or they'll throw a flag and they'll pick it up. It's every single game. It's every single game, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, and I've heard it ad nauseum. There's just nothing more you can do, and there's nothing more that can be said about it other than coach your team and be prepared that that's going to happen. You're going to have a crew who wants to throw the flags against you, who wants to change the football game, and who wants to be the center point of the game. Just play that way, okay? For the rest of the season, 4 games left in the regular season, whatever postseason that we have. Just play that way, okay? And I think I think if you play that disciplined, just expecting that's what the refs want to do, I think you'll see some of those flags start to come down. Okay, that's bad. That was really, really bad. And then obviously that 11-minute 24-yard scoring drive, which was again gifted by the referees. 3 points, but it's still 3 points that counts. Those 3 points count, and you have to be prepared for it. Those things were bad, ugly. We have no kicking game. It's been a long time since I think one of the BK team, one of those 2014, 15, or 16 BK teams had no kicking game. Actually, there was one of those teams didn't have a holder. And some of the kicking operation of this year is because the holder, I think Tyler Buckner is the holder. It's really choppy. The whole operation, from the snapping to the catching of the ball and twisting the ball. I heard Vince D'Addario talking about this last night on Irish Breakdown, and I totally agree with him. I was a kicker in high school, so I was a holder, I was a punter, I kicked field goals, I did all of that in high school, so I understand the complexities and the importance of the entire operation, from the snapping to the holding to the kicking, the fundamentals of the kicking. And he was absolutely right. Everything about it is completely wrong. It's all off. These guys are playing. It's all up here. It's all up in the head. They are timid. They don't when they go in to kick the ball, they have no idea where it's going. They have no idea where it's about to head. I'm just going to kick this ball and it's going to go where it's going to go. 3 guys, not 1 or 2, 3 guys missed a kick in this game last night. 2 of them were PATs. And again, as a kicker, as someone who's done it in a game, it can be nerve-wracking. I understand there's the mechanics of getting a football over a line is different than like kicking a soccer ball or kicking any other kind of ball. It is different. However, for people who are on scholarship who do this, that's all they do every single day is kick field goals. That's literally all they do. Maybe they lift some weights, maybe they do some team stretches and do some team meetings. But that's all they do is kick footballs every day, and they can't do it. Unexcusable. Absolutely, it is not bad. It is ugly. So where do we go from here? What's the solution? Again, Irish Breakdown last night. I heard Brian Driscoll say that you need to just go with the freshman the rest of the year, and I completely agree. I had the exact same thought. You just need to go with the freshman. Noah Burnett is hurt. He is hurt. Put him on bench until he's not hurt. And then even when he is better, you make him kick field goals over and over again in practice until you're like, okay, I think he's good now. If that's where you want to go. In my opinion, there's something wrong with that, with the coaching operation and getting in kickers every single year to be your main kicker. Because this is now the second year in a row where you've had a kicker have the exact same injury. And he missed a huge chunk of time. And it literally derailed his season. Marty Biaggi, he's a great play caller. When you're calling fake calls, he can draw up some pretty interesting fake punts and fake field goals and stuff like that. But other than that, he has not done a good job at coaching these kickers. And he was a kicker, and he's not doing a good job at this. So you have to pick someone. If it's Noah Burnett, he's got to be healthy. He's clearly not healthy. He's not healthy. So with the other 2 guys, it's definitely in the head, especially the freshman. So that's why I agree with Brian Driscoll. You just got to go with the freshman because at least he's healthy. You just have he's the guy. You're going to go with him. You're going to live and die by him. He's got a big leg. He can make all the kicks, in terms of power. So you just got to go with him, and you're going to live or die by him for the rest of the season. And then once you get to the playoff, depending on how he performs throughout the season, is whether you go back to Burnett or not. Because Burnett's hurt, and you got to wait until he's not hurt anymore. So that's my opinion. That's the good, bad, and the ugly. What does all this mean, big picture? Look, it was super frustrating. It was super annoying. There's a million things you could talk about in this game. When it's all said and done, we won. We won by double digits. The defense was dominant, even though they gave up a ridiculous 11-minute, 24 second drive, and had some stupid penalties. But they were dominant. They did play dominant. It was the offense that was kind of sputtering, particularly the offensive line. I'm not even going to blame the offensive line, honestly. I'm going to blame the coaches. Because they were daring Notre Dame to throw it over the top, which Notre Dame did, but they couldn't. Notre Dame wasn't doing any. They weren't spreading the field. They weren't giving your really fast, really dynamic running backs chances to go to do some sweeps. Like, can we see 1 or 2? We didn't see any. They're doing everything just right up the middle, just zone reads all day long. I just don't understand that. That's on coaching, which I think, in the long scheme of things, this bad win was 100% coaches, totally. You have to have your kids prepared in 2 different ways. Every single team is going to play you like it's their Super Bowl, and every single refereeing crew is going to throw flags at you every single chance that they get. You will be on the losing end of that battle in every game. You have to prepare your kids for those 2 things. Have to. And I think if you do, going forward, you're going to be fine. And in the long run, if they win every game going forward, they will be fine and they'll make the playoff. What this could mean, this bad win, is maybe we don't host a game. I do think that this game was bad enough to be able to go to the committee and be like, you know what? At the end of the season, I don't think we should put this team as one of the top 8 teams in the country. Because that's what you need in order to host a playoff game. You got to be one of those top 8. We'll see. Who knows? The only thing I do know about this committee, everyone thinks that they know what the committee wants and what the committee says. They value wins over losses. Yeah. Okay, whatever. This is a hot money time in college football. That's what they care about. That's really what they want is money. And they're going to put teams in the playoff that are going to draw the most eyeballs. They'll do what they think is quote unquote fair and put in that group of 5 team or whatever. But in the long run, they're gonna put in teams that are gonna draw eyeballs. They're gonna put up matchups that are going to draw eyeballs. That's what they care about. And that's, love it or hate it, that is good. That's good news for Notre Dame. Okay. Love it or hate it about the college football playoff committee. If you're an opposing fan, maybe you're Michigan or something, you hate Notre Dame. You have the same benefit. Okay. If Notre Dame loses another game and you guys don't, or whatever, like any other fan base that's, any of those top 25 fan bases, you have the same benefit, okay? It's just going to come down to what kind of matchups they can get and the seeding, okay? So if Notre Dame wins out at 10-2, they're going to be in. Evidence of this, last year, we had 7 teams with 2 losses or more in the playoff. No, I'm sorry. We had 8 teams with 2 losses or more in the playoff. Your national championship winner, Ohio State, had 2 losses and did not play in their conference title game. I heard it 50 times. Yeah, I'm so sick of it. I'm just going to mute, and I highly recommend you guys do this. Just mute all the announcers the rest of the way, because they're going to keep saying, well, the obvious reason why Notre Dame would be held out of the playoffs because they're not in the conference. I've talked about that ad nauseum. It is so annoying. It is so frustrating. Look, you guys are stupid, and you know why? There are going to be, every single year going forward, every single year, there are going to be 8 at-large, there's going to be 7 at-large non-conference championship winners in the playoff. Okay? 7 teams every single year will not be a conference championship winner. Okay? Going forward. Notre Dame is fine. They're fine not being in a conference. Now, if they make some kind of rule where you have to be in a conference in order to be in the playoff, that's different. All right? But the whole conversation of them not being in a conference and not hampering them at the end of the season is stupid, because 7 teams are going to be in it that are not conference championships, that are not conference champions. Your national title, I'm going to say it again, your national title winner last year did not win their conference championship, nor did they play in it. Okay? 8 teams had 2 losses or more. Clemson had 3. Yes, the reason why they got into the playoff was because they won their conference championship, but they had 3 losses. 7 other teams had 2. Your national title winner had 2. Every single season is going to be different. I understand. Totally get it. This could be a different season where you have 2 teams with 2 losses. You could have 1 team with 2 losses. You could have 3 teams with 2. Who knows? And every season's going to be different. And I guarantee you, if Notre Dame wins out, they will be in the playoff. Will they host a playoff game? I don't know. Will they be in? Yes. So grand picture, that's that. I'm going to say this real quick also before I get off. Look, I recorded a video and I didn't post it about Brian Kelly and the firing of Brian Kelly. And the reason why is because he doesn't deserve it. He didn't deserve that 30 minutes. And I was done. I pressed stop, and I was like, I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, I shouldn't post this because everyone else and their mom is posting a Brian Kelly video and ha-haing about his firing. And I was one of those guys that was calling for his firing after the 2015 season, let alone the 2016 season. Because that 2015 season, I remember saying, but before the season started, if he doesn't do it now, he won't do it, and we need to part ways. In the same way that Franklin was fired this year. Everyone was saying, if he's not doing it this year with this talent, these guys coming back, he needs to go, and he was fired. And same thing with Brian Kelly after that 2015 season when you had Malik Zaire, you had all. You go back to that team and look at that team and how many NFL players, how many guys on that team played in the NFL. It's something ridiculous. Like from that season on that roster, and you look at it comparable to other rosters. They're like second only to Alabama in terms of players that eventually played in the NFL on that roster. It was inexcusable that we had no business being on the field when we played Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl that year. And then, of course, you had the absolute, an unforgivable debacle of 2016. So I was one of those few people that was calling for his firing after then, certainly after 2016, and he was completely dead to me after the rest of his career at Notre Dame. We took him in 2018 and 2020 playoff game. We didn't belong on the field again. Two football teams that were good, but not great. And we have a standard of being great at Notre Dame, not good, but great. And I want to see a national championship. And the only way you're going to see a national championship is if you put a great team on the field, not a good team. And I use the same standard with Marcus Freeman. You need to be great, not good. And Brian Kelly was good. I couldn't. He was an ass. I couldn't stand him. Didn't like him. But he was not good. He was not great, and he never was. And I don't care. I don't care that he played for 3 national championships. I don't care. He was not good, he was not great. So that's it. That's all I have to say about him. Bye-bye. Good luck sipping your Mai Tais in the South Pacific with Packy, as you famously said when you nonchalantly and couldn't care less that Notre Dame was going to sign a multi-year deal to play Texas A&M. Go sip your Mai Tais. Have fun. God bless. That'll be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you. Go Irish. We'll see you next week when I think we play Navy. We'll talk about that. So, love you.